Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Friday 5. This week we're going to be talking about the top 5 board games from my collection. I'm actually going to break this into two sets of 5. The first set is going to be 5 quick and easy board games to get into, games that you don't necessarily need a lot of strategy and thinking to have fun in. There's definitely some strategy elements, but it's easy for somebody who's maybe not big into the board game genre to kind of get into it. So let's get started. Up first is a game called Tahiti. This game was actually funded on Kickstarter back in 2012, and it's a really fun game for 2 to 4 players. It takes about 60 minutes, and it's a game where you are going from island to island and collecting resources. As you play the game, the map kind of evolves dynamically throughout. Every turn, somebody adds a new map tile until there's no more, and actually that kind of triggers the start of the end of the game when there's no more map tiles. It's a really fun game. Really, the only reason I rate it at number 5 is because it's only up to 4 players. Me and my family play board games a lot, but we're typically 5 to 6 people. So unless my brother's at work or not around, this one can sometimes be hard to fit in. But it's a really fun game. It's really simple. Not a whole lot of rules or anything. So if you're playing with people who, are just used to the old school monopolies and things like that, this is a good one to kind of get into. Up next, we have another Kickstarter game. This one is called What the Food. I want to say this one was funded a little bit later. It might have been 2014. But this is a really fun game. It's for 3 to 8 players, takes 30 to 45 minutes, and it's a classic food fight game. You get different foods to throw at people. So, for example, you can see like a corn dog, and you can put toppings on it, like relish and things. And then you basically do actions, and you have to kind of guess what other people are going to do. So you might, throw and then duck and then dodge, and you have to kind of guess that order based off what you think other people are going to do. It's really fun, really fast paced. There's a bunch of different characters you can be. If you have a board game store in the area, you're not going to find this at Target, but they might have this. They might have a way to get this. It's a great game. Next on our list is not a Kickstarter game. This is a game by Fantasy Flight. It's called Rock Band Manager. It's for 3 to 6 players and takes 30 to 60 minutes. This game is a little bit more in depth than the other two, but it's still very lighthearted. You can see it's got kind of a cartoony art style. It's really fun to play. It's a game where you could be in last place and not even realize it because of the way that the point system kind of plays out, and you just are having fun the whole time. You're building a crazy rock band with all these weird characters in it and stuff, and then you basically go through their career and have to pick shows to go to, and all of that ends up equaling out to different things in the end. Maybe you had the best album sales and you get a bonus, or things like that. And it's a really fun, lighthearted game. Up next is a game that has about the fastest round in a game that I've ever played. This game's called Love Letter, and it was featured on Will Wheaton's tabletop show that he hosts with Felicia Day on her YouTube channel. And the premise is going to sound a little cheesy. Basically, you are trying to get a love letter to the princess. And so to do that, you need to be the closest one to her. Whether it's a guard or a bishop or another princess or a countess, each one has a numerical value, and you go through these really quick rounds, and it's a very simple game. I think this only has like 14 cards in the whole thing. Every turn, draw a card and then play a card, and that's it until there's no more cards, and then basically you compare and see who has the highest number. Each person has a number with indicating how close they are to the princess. It's very fast paced, super easy to get into. Like I said, the other games were easy. This is even easier. It's 2 to 4 players. Although playing with 2 people doesn't really make sense, so I'd probably say 3 to 4. It's not going to be a lot of fun with 2 people, probably. A good game to kind of throw in between other games. If somebody's taking a bathroom break, and the other people are just kind of sitting around on their phones, play a couple rounds of this instead. It's very addicting. Check it out. And my number one pick for this category, again, this is the top 5 board games that I own that are easy and quick and fun to get into, lighthearted. Number 1 on my list is a game called Suro. So there's like a whole backstory of your like dragons flying through space and time or something. It's a bunch of mumbo jumbo. I don't really care about that. What I care about is good gameplay. And this is another game that was featured on that tabletop show. It's another game kind of like the previous one, Love Letter, where it's super fast. They say 15 to 20 minutes. I'd put it more at 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how many people you have playing. It goes from 2 to 8. Again, 2 would kind of be boring. This game's actually more fun with more people. A lot of games, there's kind of a balance. Like, most games, if you say 2 to 8, really, like, 4 or 5 is probably the best number. This game's great with 8 still. Every turn you get one of these tile cards, and the lines on the card will be completely different. You place the card, and then your pawn kind of moves along that path. Everybody kind of starts on the edge, and the idea is to not run into someone else and not run off the board. It's a great game, really fun, easy to get into, and can be addicting. Definitely top of my list as far as this category goes. Be sure to check this one out. Alright guys, thanks for checking out my top 5 family-friendly, super easy to get into board games. This was a top 5 list, so that is the order I would put those games in. Be sure to check out my channel next week for the top 5 board games that require a little bit more thought. They're equally as fun, if to me, not funner. I have a lot of good ones there. Some you may have heard of, some you may not have. And there is some family-friendly, easy to get into ones there too. Just still that you have to think a little bit more and plan. Whereas these games, it's less about the planning, more just about the digging in and having fun. Thanks again for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next Friday. Love wetter. Love wetter. Poppy, you gotta get out of here.